This is the Stephen A. Smith Show podcast.
I'm Stephen A. Welcome back to the Stephen A. Smith Show right here on ESPN Radio. Any minute now, I'm expecting a call from the great one himself, Terence Crawford. Hopefully he'll call in. Elite writer for Top Rank Promotions. Obviously, they're in partnership with ESPN. Great event this past Saturday night on the ESPN Plus app. I enjoyed watching it. Terence Crawford was sensational, dismantling Jeff Horn, TKO in the 9th round, I believe. As a result, he is the reigning WBO welterweight champion of the world. He is looking to unify the belts. He wants Keith Thurman. He wants Errol Spence Jr. That fight against Errol Spence Jr. would be something special. Both guys are looking for Keith Thurman, who's been out of action for a little while or so. We're looking forward to hearing what he has to say. There's a lot of stuff to get into. Whenever Terence Crawford calls, I'll definitely bring him on the line. For the moment, however, I want to say this. I watched Tom Brady talking with Oprah. And one of the things that resonated with me is how he said that ultimately he came to terms with the fact that he just wasn't going to win. My point is that just proved he was posturing. He always knew he was never going to win. He always knew that he was going to have to take the hit. And, you know, you speak to some people out there, the Belichick critics who will remain nameless, but they'll be on the show in a few minutes, I'm sure. Tom Brady was always going to take some hits, you know, for Belichick. But we'll get into all of that a little bit later. On the line with yours truly right now is the reigning WBO welterweight champion of the world. He came on the show last week, declared he would handle his business, ended up doing so by dismantling Jeff Horn. I owe him a personal apology because he was on national television today, but they had some damn technical difficulties, and you heard him talking, but you couldn't see his face. So I had to sit up there and say, I wanted him on my radio show anyway, so I'm happy to have him back on. The WBO welterweight champion of the world, Terence Crawford. What's going on, big time? How are you?
I'm doing all right, man.
Break this down for me. After dismantling Jeff Horn, you believe you have proven what exactly?
Oh, that I'm going to be one of the best welterweight fighters in the division.
Now, you said that your goal was to unify the belt or what have you, and you've been talking as if you don't believe that you have been receiving enough respect. People that watch boxing, that know boxing, universally recognize you as one of the top 2 pound-for-pound fighters on the planet, and beating Jeff Horn the way that you did certainly didn't hurt much. What do you talk to me about this disrespect you feel that you're receiving, how people are not appreciating things about you. What are folks not appreciating about Terence Crawford?
I just don't think they appreciate the talent that I have. You know, a lot of people is saying that, I'm fighting nobodies, and Jeff Horn was a tomato can. He really didn't beat Pacquiao. So it's like we knew that was going to happen, but I just think it's the fashion that I'm beating these guys in to make them look like nobodies.
Terence Crawford right here with Stephen A. on ESPN Radio. I watched you against Jeff Horn, and obviously I don't view Jeff Horn in the light that I view some of the elite welterweights. Make no mistake about it. But the flip side is I know enough about boxing to watch you and know when I'm watching somebody that's gifted. For you to move up in weight and to have the power that you have is really impressive. But your quickness, your ability to use that jab, to evade punches, that is what has struck me. Talk to me about what specifically you think makes you great. What is it about you that makes you so special above all the other fighters out there?
I just think my way to adapt to any fighter, my thinking process, I think that's what separates me from all the other fighters. We all go in the gym and we all train. We all got our training coaches and strength and condition coaches. But I just think, my mental and my mind frame and the way I think is what separates me from the others.
I'm going to use this as a testament to your greatness. I'm not going to malign you for it at all. But when I'm watching fighters, one of the things that I like to see that tells me something about them is I want to see them take a punch, because my mentality is everybody looks good until they get hit. And you're usually the one doing the hitting. I cannot recall, Terence Crawford, where I've seen you get popped, where I've seen somebody catch you flush. I haven't seen that. You're the one in the ring, not me. Have you been popped? Have you ever been hurt in your professional career?
Of course. Gamboa called me being careless. I've been hit. Jeff Warren hit me with a couple of right hands, but it's just me being me, have a granite chin. I believe I have a special ability of, taking punches and giving punches, and that's it.
When you look at yourself in the welterweight division, do you believe, because you're undefeated, all right, 33-0, you got 20, listen, this is what you do. But when you look at yourself as a welterweight, what do you think we'll see from you in this higher weight division that we didn't see in the lower ones?
Well, I don't know yet. I just believe that I'm going to continually get better, and I just have to prove it in the ring. It's no need to telling people what I'm gonna do if I'm not able to do it. So my thing is I do all the showing in my fights and in the ring. This was my first welterweight fight. I felt being spectacular in my first outing, but again, that was just one fight, and I'm ready to show the world that I can do it. Many fights are ongoing.
We're talking to Terence Crawford, the reigning WBL welterweight champion of the world. He's right here with Stephen A. on ESPN Radio. Look, man, this dude, Keith Thurman, right now he's 28-0 with 22 KOs, okay? I'm looking at him, and his last fight was against Danny Garcia on March 4th of 2017. That's more than a year this guy got off. I'm wondering, are you confident you're going to be able to get some of these guys in the ring? The better you look, the more of a reason to avoid you. What are your thoughts about that?
I don't think no fighter avoiding anybody if they're the top welterweights in the division. I just think things happening. Keith got an injury. I don't believe he's avoiding anybody or anything like that. It just got to make sense for him to get in the ring and risk it all right at this point in time in his career.
So with Keith Thurman out of action, the likelihood of him coming back and fighting you to unify yet another belt, that's just not going to happen. I can't see that happen. A guy like Errol Spence Jr., he's a champion, but in the same breath, why sit up there and fight Terence Crawford when you can wait and there's more money down the line to be made the more you make people wait? So if you've got those two out of the mix, what are the kind of things you're hearing from your camp as to who a potential next opponent would be?
Well, right now, we just came off a fight, and we haven't even sat down and really had the time to even talk about that right now.
Okay. Terence Crawford right here with Stephen A. on ESPN Radio. Let me pick your brain about a couple of other fights that have come to our mind's eye. Yesterday it was announced that Triple G and Canelo Alvarez will fight one another. First of all, I want to know from your knowledge, because I know how much you know boxing. Obviously, you're a champion in the sport. Who did you believe won the first fight?
Oh, I had Triple G winning the first one. I was actually at that fight.
Yes, you were. I saw you there. So you thought that Triple G won the first fight, right?
Most definitely, hands down.
Who do you think's going to win the second fight?
I don't know. It depends on how Canelo fight this fight. If he fight the fight like he was fighting the second half of the fight, he got a strong chance of winning because his speed and movement was real life frustrating Gennady Golovkin. But if Golovkin can keep the pressure on him and fight like he was fighting the first half, then it's going to be another tough night for Canelo.
Terence, was it just me, or did you walk away from the fight saying, damn, Canelo looked really a lot faster than Triple G, and I would be worried about Triple G in that second fight because of that speed discrepancy? That's what I saw, at least in the second half. What about you?
No, I already knew going into the fight that Canelo was going to be way faster than Triple G. That was a no-brainer. But the thing was, Triple G was going to time him. You know, he was just going for the knockout. I believe if he would have went to the body a little bit more, then he would have been more successful. But he was just so stuck on trying to knock Canelo out that he never really went to the body. But his jab slowed Canelo down a lot because when he was throwing it, Canelo really couldn't get off. So it just depends on their game plan coming into the second fight.
Let me get your thoughts on the other fight that supposedly has been agreed upon. Anthony Joshua versus Deontay Wilder. I know they're welterweights. They're a little bit further from your division. But again, you know boxing and you're a champion in this sport. How do you view that fight taking place?
Oh, man, that's a great fight. That's the biggest fight in boxing right now. And those two fighting each other. And I like them both, you know. But I'm going to have to go with Wilder, man. He's hungry, and he got that indicator. Like, when in doubt, if he catch you with it, you're going to sleep. And we seen how Anthony Joshua got dropped by
Klitschko.
And I just don't see, you know, him getting up or Wilder letting him finish the fight if he hurt him like that.
Now, I know you saw Deontay Wilder go up against Luis Ortiz. Ortiz had him a little hurt, though, Terence Crawford. He had him a little hurt. I was worried.
But if you look at it, Ortiz was fundamentally sound. Not saying that Joshua is not. You know, he was crafty. You know, he got the little movements. He got the little quick check hooks and check lefts. Now, Joshua, he's orthodox, so he's not going to be coming from the opposite side. You know, I just don't see it. You know, I just think that Joshua get hit with right hands. If you watched his last fight with Parker, you know, he was getting touched. You know, and if Wilder touching him like that, then you know it's going to be a short night.
Terence Crawford right here with Stephen A. on ESPN Radio, the reigning WBO welterweight champion of the world. You know, before I let you get on out of here, just a couple of more questions. I mean, I'm thinking about, you know, just some of the greats that have fought in this sport, and one of those guys is Floyd Money Mayweather, obviously. He raves about you, thinks you're very, very special. What does that mean to you? What, if any, relationship do you have with Floyd Money Mayweather?
Oh, it means a lot, you know, especially come from best fighter in the world, you know, not acknowledging me as the best active fighter in the world. You know, that tells a lot about my skills and my ability inside the ring. Me and Floyd actually real cool, you know. He hit me up before my fight and after my fight. Told me to go out there and do my thing, and you know, he rooting for me and pulling for me, and you know, that just gave me a little more extra confidence to go out there and put on a great show. Being that Floyd hit me up and told me that he was going to watch me and stuff like that, so you know, it just, you know, something that keeps me motivated to keep doing what I'm doing.
Let me ask you this last boxing question. Do you plan on staying in the welterweight division? Do you envision yourself, is this where you want to be for years to come? Or do you see yourself moving up even further in weight? Is that something that's an aspiration of yours, or are you where you've always wanted to be in the welterweight division right now?
Well, right now I'm at the welterweight division. I'm not thinking about it. 54 yet. I just moved up to welterweight. So anything other than 47 is not in, you know, my fruition right now.
I got you. Before I let you get on out of here, man, I happen to know that you're a little basketball fan there. I want you. I know that you believe in the Golden State Warriors. You believe they're the best. They're the two-time reigning defending NBA champions. Your thoughts on LeBron James getting swept, sir? That's a better question.
Oh man,
that's right.
Hey, you asked me, they should have lost the Celtics, but you know, LeBron, he played his heart out. You know, like I always say, you can't do it by yourself when you're playing a team sport. You know, he did everything he could, and they let game one get away from him, and Golden State came back and made him pay for that. And you could tell that he was getting wore down because I believe that was his third Game 7 in the playoffs. And he was playing practically every minute of the game, so it was just a matter of time before his body just ran down.
Let me ask you this last question. And it was asked you this morning about Golden State. That's your favorite for next year. I got a better question for you. What has to happen with what team could potentially knock off Golden State, and what do they need to do it? Who's the biggest threat? What do you perceive the biggest threat to Golden State being?
Well, if Houston come back with all the players that they had this year, I believe Houston. If you look, if Chris Paul didn't get hurt, then maybe Golden State lose that next game. They had him on the ropes, and I just strongly believe Chris Paul was the factor. So
you don't think Houston needs to change at all, Terrence? You think they don't need to go out and get LeBron? They could stand pat as presently constructed, and you think they take out Golden State next year?
Oh, of course. If Harden stayed consistent and Chris Paul is healthy, of course. You seen it. You seen it right there.
All right.
They was out shooting them, out rebounding them. They had them on their heels.
I think Golden State would have won that Game 7, but that's just me. Man, I appreciate you, man. Congratulations on everything. I'm looking forward to you fighting Keith Thurman. I think you'll beat him. And then Errol Spence Jr., I can't wait for that fight as well. Good luck in all that you're doing, man. I'm proud of you, man. Keep it going.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Take it easy, bro. The one and only Terence Crawford, WBO welterweight champion, former junior middleweight champion. And the brother's a bad bro. I mean, come on now. He's something special. He really, really is. He's got the whole package. Make no mistake about it. I'm talking the whole package, y'all. He can box. He can go straight. He's natural southpaw. He's got power in either hands. Terence Crawford, Errol Spence Jr. That might be one of the great fights coming up. Everybody's high on Thurman, including my man Maurice Bernard that plays Sonny Corinthos on General Hospital. That's my man. I got a recurring role on that soap opera. I'll be back there this fall, by the way. But I got to tell you something. I'm not as high on Thurman as everybody else. I know he can fight. I'm not trying to disrespect him, but I'm not as high on him as everybody else is. I think Terence Crawford and Errol Spence Jr. will both take Keith Thurman. I really do. I'm not saying by knockout. It could be decision, but I think he'd lose to both of them. I really believe that. 888-SAY-ESPN. It's 888-729-3776. To the phones we go. Ramel in Long Island. You're live with Stephen A. Talk to me. Ramel, are you there? All right.
I got 3 questions for you.
Go ahead, man.
2 basketball, 1 football. Do you see a scenario where LeBron and Kawhi Leonard could join each other in San Antonio?
No. Unless LeBron was willing to go to San Antonio, because I don't think San Antonio would trade Kawhi to the Lakers. What's your second question?
Second question is, I'm a big Knicks fan. What do you think do you see Kyrie eventually joining the Knicks in 2019?
I don't see it happening. I think that if he were a free agent, which he would be next summer, then I think he'd give the Knicks very strong consideration, particularly if Porzingis was healthy and was recruiting him to come on board. The flip side is that he has a year until he's a free agent, and we're talking about Danny Ainge having the rights to him right now, and the Knicks have nothing to offer Danny Ainge. So I could see him giving Kyrie to somebody else for viable assets, and obviously he couldn't move Kyrie unless Kyrie swore that he was going to re-up with whoever he was traded to, and so that's what you have the issue there. I don't think that I would say it's less than a 25% chance Kyrie would end up in New York, but at least it's that much.
Makes sense. Last one. I'm a big Giants fan. Where do you see us ending up in this upcoming season?
It's hard to say. If they really have improved the defense, I could see second place. I don't see. You know what? Believe it or not, I've got the Dallas Cowboys right now, and I reserve the right to change my mind because I'm sick to my stomach, ready to throw up just for having to say that. But I actually could see the Dallas Cowboys winning the division this year. I got to see how Saquon Barkley vibes with Odell Beckham Jr. and Sterling Shepard and those boys. And I got to see what the Giants defense does before I believe in anything, not to mention how well they protect Eli Manning. In the case of the Cowboys, I think re-signing Zach Martin was a big deal. Continuing to buffer your offensive line with Ezekiel Elliott, not having to worry about the suspension, with Dak Prescott knowing he's going to have Ezekiel Elliott at his disposal. I expect the Dallas Cowboys offense to be potent. I do think they made a mistake, though, in letting go of Des Bryant. I'm not siding with primetime Deion Sanders saying they should go back and rethink things and bring Des Bryant back, because I think it's too little too late. You already took that cap hit, but they should have never let Des Bryant go in the first place. I think that was a huge mistake on the part of the Dallas Cowboys. I also don't think Des Bryant deserved that, and I think that they could potentially end up paying for it. But if they've improved their defense, then to me, because of their running game and that offensive line and Dak Prescott and how efficient he is when he has a running game and the offensive line protecting him, I would still give them the edge over everybody else. I know the Philadelphia Eagles are the reigning Super Bowl champions, but I think there's something to be said for everybody seeing them coming. Carson Wentz coming off of injury, the whole Nick Foles scenario. I could see the Philadelphia Eagles falling off this year and then coming back in 2019 and wreaking havoc. But that's just my thoughts. Appreciate the call. 888-SAY-ESPN. It's 888-729-3776. Back with more of the Stephen A. Smith Show on ESPN Radio. Talking NBA free agency. Talking Lakers, OKC, Philadelphia, Houston, Boston. The list goes on and on. Plus, you heard me bring up Tom Brady, right? He talked with Oprah. And obviously he revealed that he just stopped fighting and just let the stress go. Because you know something, you couldn't win anyway. So why even bother? Well, you knew that beforehand, and you still fought anyway, which means you were posturing because you knew there was no way in hell you could win. You just wanted to give the impression of innocence. Was it to protect Bill Belichick? Or his own image? Or both? I'll have an answer to that question and more in a minute. You're listening live to Stephen A. on ESPN Radio.
Next. You're holding up the line, ma'am.
What did you say?
You're next in line for the water slide, ma'am. Feet forward and enjoy the ride.
Okay, dearie. This does look fun. Whee-oh! You melted me. I've melted.
The Wicked Witch of the West on a water slide? Surprising. What's not surprising? How much you could save by switching to Geico.
See what you've done. Oh!
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
You're listening to the Stephen A. Smith Show podcast.
Let's go to Wilson in New Jersey. You're live with Stephen A. What's up, Wilson?
Hey, Stephen A. Thank you for taking my call.
Thank you.
I want to talk about Crawford. If Thurman, first of all, when he fought Gamboa, a washed-up Gamboa, he was hurt. He got hurt a few times. I'm talking about Crawford.
Hold on, you talking about Crawford? You said Crawford got hurt a few times?
Yes, sir.
Okay, go ahead.
Now,
I didn't see that entire fight, so you might be right. I saw like the last 3 rounds when he picked Gamboa apart, but go ahead.
If he fights a healthy Keith Thurman, I don't see him lasting, because if he gets hurt the way Gamboa hurt him, Keith Thurman is going to kill him.
Okay. I'm not sold on Thurman, man. I'm sold on Thurman's power. Let me say that. I am sold on Thurman's power. I'm not sold on Thurman the boxer. I'm not sold on him.
I am, because of the way he fought Garcia. I think Garcia was a better boxer, and he showed up, he showed his skills pretty good with Garcia.
I thought Garcia came on strong after he felt he could taste and take Keith Thurman's power. That's what I felt.
About Spence Jr., I believe Spence Jr. will be the best boxer we've seen in a long time.
You think Thurman's the best boxer we've seen in a long time?
Spence Jr. I think Spence Jr. is
Errol Spence Jr. is that guy.
He is going to destroy everybody in the division.
I'm an Errol Spence Jr. fan, and I think he's naturally bigger and stronger than Terence Crawford. But I got to tell you, Terence Crawford is a spectacular talent, bro. He really, really is. He's a spectacular talent. I can't sleep on him. I really can't.
What threw me off was when he got hurt against a washed-up Gamboa. That right there, I was like,
How was Gamboa washed up at the time? He was still young.
He had it for 2 years.
Because he had it for 2 years.
He he had about 3 losses before
because he had to. Gamboa had too many damn distractions. He really, really did. So you do make a good point there. I appreciate the call, Wilson. Thank you so much. Eric in Michigan, you're live with Stephen A. Talk to me, Eric.
Hey, Stephen A. With sports gambling being legal in the United States of America now, it's time to have the discussion about how we're going to pay these college athletes.
Mm-hmm.
Because with the amount of money that's already out there and the exponential amount that's going to grow once these states start implementing this,
okay,
these kids are going to be making some people a lot of money, and they're going to be losing people a lot more money. We have to figure out a percentage, I think, would be the best way to get these kids, depending on what their program brings in. Because college basketball brings in more than, and I hate to say it, but chess.
Mm-hmm. I got you. I understand what you're saying. I would tell you, listen, we don't need sports gambling and its arrival on the legal stage, meaning having it legalized. We don't need that to recognize that these athletes need to be paid. Just as long as we understand everybody doesn't need to be paid the same. If you're playing football at Alabama, somebody at Drexel doesn't deserve the same as you. Period. And we got to understand that. In the capitalistic society, there are haves and have-nots, and everybody does not deserve the same. It's just that simple. The more revenue you generate, the more you deserve. Appreciate the call. Carlton in Tampa, you're live with Stephen A. What's up, buddy? How are you?
I'm thinking about flying to New Jersey and placing a bet on how many more years it's going to be before ESPN figures out actually what was really going on with Deflategate and learns how to read things like Tom Brady's interview with Oprah. So let me tell you what Tom Brady was talking about when he said he found out who he could count on and who really supported him. Well, not my coach, Bill Belichick, who chucked me under the bus to cover up Bill's cheating scheme, okay?
Bill Belichick definitely threw him under the bus when he immediately addressed the media and said, ask the quarterback, ask Tom Brady. I don't have anything to do with that. You're absolutely right.
And he talked about his frustrations. His frustrations were that he had to destroy his cell phone on the day he was scheduled to meet with Tom Wells to hide the fact that Bill was behind it all. And another one of his frustrations was how the Patriots made Jim McNally, a.k.a. Jimmy Hotfingers, and John Jastrzemski, the two guys that were actually doing the deflating balls, disappear from the face of the earth. And you guys have never been able to talk to them since. They literally disappeared from the planet, Stephen A. Okay. But now, Bill's trying to quell his current, palace coup going on there over the whole sitting of Malcolm Butler, which alienated half the team, and all the free agents left. Solder left, Dion Lewis left, Danny Amendola left, Malcolm Butler left. And so he's doing things like he canceled the last 2 days of OTAs this year. When have you ever seen Bill Belichick do that?
I never saw him do that. So why are you saying he's doing that? Why did he cancel the last 2 days of OTAs?
He is trying to put down the mutiny on the Patriots, or the remaining Patriots, a.k.a. Tom Brady and Gronkowski, who both did not attend voluntary OTAs. Now, he also had his organization leak out that Danny Amendola is appealing his 4-game PED suspension. So I think he's also trying to deflect by what I am calling Bill's juice bar, his third major cheating scandal. If you remember 2 years ago, Rob Ninkovich, who tore his triceps, got popped for PEDs. 4 games. He wasn't using Alex Guerrero, by the way. Edelman just started up with Guerrero, and what they're trying to do is deflect attention towards Guerrero for Edelman's PED suspension, which, by the way, is a substance that they're not even sure what it is, the NFL. They just know it's a banned substance, and they're still investigating it. So watch for Bill's third major cheating scandal, i.e. that this came from the Patriots trainers, not from Guerrero, who denied he had anything to do with this whatsoever. But one of these days, you guys are actually going to figure out that the Patriots were deflating footballs for 8 years. So Tom, stop trying to play the victim. You got a benefit for 8 years from less fumbling, and your receivers hanging onto the ball better because you are putting a pin in the football.
Oh my goodness! Take it easy, Carlton. Have a good day. That's the Carlton I know and love. It's the Carlton I know and love. You're looking for haterade, when it comes to Bill Belichick and the New England Patriots, look no further than my man Carlton, formerly of Massachusetts, now retired in Tampa, but I love him, and boy, does he know his stuff. 888-SAY-ESPN. That's 3776. You are listening live to Stephen A. ESPN Radio. Your calls to close out the show in a minute.
Guess what? You're in the middle of the Stephen A. Smith Show podcast.
Damn it, I mean it! That caller that called in talking about this guy Gamboa that Terence Crawford picked apart. Remember that Gamboa hadn't lost a fight until he lost to Crawford on June 28th, 2014. Prior to that, he did not have a 2-year layoff, sir. His previous fight was 1 year and 20 days earlier, June 8th, 2013. So it was not a 2-year layoff. It was a 1-year layoff. And Gamboa walked into the ring against Terence Crawford and got picked apart. Anyway, and then after that, and by the way, Gamboa was undefeated at the time. And then even after he lost to Terence Crawford, he had won 3 straight before losing to Robinson Castellanos on May 5th of 2017. So that is not accurate. Gamboa is 28-2, 17 KOs. He's lost 2 fights by KOs. One to Crawford, the other to Castellanos. Let's get to the phones. By the way, this other thing, state of California, at some point in time, we might have to talk about this tomorrow. You got some guy, founder and managing director of Draper Fisher Jurvetson, Timothy Draper. He said for several years, the Silicon Valley entrepreneur Timothy Draper has sought to break up California, citing its unwieldy size as damaging to the state's schools, livability, and the economy. In November, California residents will get their chance to vote on his latest proposal to divide the world's 5th largest economy, which is the state of California, into 3 separate states. Mr. Draper is proposing that the state of 40 million people be split into 3 entities with roughly the same populations. Northern California will comprise the upper part of the state, including Silicon Valley and San Francisco. Southern California would include a vast swath of the inland's verdant farmland stretching to San Diego. A third state, simply called California, would hug the coastline from Monterey to Los Angeles. Good luck with that. You need approval from the California legislature as well as the United States Congress. You ain't getting it. Folks might lose votes over that. Ain't gonna happen. But good luck. Go for it. Let's go to the phones real quick. Let's go to Zeke in Michigan. You're live with Stephen A. What's up real quick?
Hey, Zeke. Hey, Stephen A. How you doing, man? I had a quick question, man. As a lifelong Pistons fan, I just need to know I really don't know what's going on with them right now as far as how they're going to get through it. But do you think they could trade Andre Drummond? And if they can, what are they going to get for return? Do you think he's like a lottery pick?
Andre Drummond is owed $25.4 million, then $27 million, then $28 million after that. Unless you, first of all, I don't think he'll be traded out west because their style of play is not conducive to him being successful. In the East, I don't know who will want him at that salary. It remains to be seen, but I got to go. I'll talk about that another time. Thank you. Adam in Houston, you're live with Stephen A. Go ahead, Adam.
Hey, Stephen A., I'll make this quick. Once LeBron is no longer with the Cavs, my question is, do you think that Kevin Love will get traded, or do you see him staying with Cleveland?
I think Kevin Love's going to get traded. I think he'll want out. He's really, really liked by a lot of those guys. And he's really liked by the Cleveland Cavaliers organization. He's an incredibly nice guy, and he's a good player. He's owed $24.1 million. It's a movable contract. And I think he's liked a lot throughout the league, and there's various teams that want him, and he won't want to stay in Cleveland without LeBron. I think Kevin Love is gone. Appreciate the call. Trey in Dallas, you're live with Stephen A. What's up?
Hey, Stephen A., thanks for taking my call. I just wanted to ask you, with LeBron chasing 23, which is Michael Jordan, beyond his career, do you think he want to go somewhere where maybe they want to give him relinquish from, GM, duty
LeBron
to him once he's done with his career?
LeBron has no interest in being GM. He wants to be an owner, and even that he's only entertaining. But he ain't trying to work for anybody. If LeBron does anything, he's going to try to own his own team, to be quite honest with you. Appreciate the call. Let's go to Tommy in Maryland. You're live with Stephen A. What's up, Tommy? Tommy, are you there? Adam in Indiana. You're live with Stephen A. What's up, Adam?
All right, 2 things I said. If LeBron want to win a couple rings, he should just go to San Antonio if him and Kawhi can work.
I don't think. Wait a minute. I don't think LeBron and Kawhi beats Golden State.
Remember, Kawhi by himself, they were up by 19.
So what? In one game? In game one of a series?
I'm just saying. I mean,
no. Don't give me you're just saying. You know better than that. If you called up here and make such a proposal, that means you know something about basketball. And if you know something about basketball, one game don't mean a damn thing and you know it.
Hey, but it'd be a nice little combo. Along with LaMarcus Aldridge, he's better than any two that they got.
Oh, please. They wouldn't beat Golden State. Not the style of play. They're not good enough shooters. Even though Kawhi can ball and he could shoot, you're not talking about, you got to want it, you got to go get it. You got to have an alpha dog on the offensive end of the floor, which they wouldn't have. I'm not buying that at all. I don't feel it, but I understand where you're coming from, Adam. They would definitely be a title contender. I could definitely see them getting to the conference finals, but I just don't view them as being enough to beat Golden State. I don't view it. You got to have somebody on there that's going to fire away, not somebody who's going to be mechanical and economical in their offensive approach. I don't believe that. I don't believe that works. I'm going to get on out of here. Got a lot to talk about, and I will talk about a whole bunch of stuff tomorrow, 22 hours from now. Until then, thank you for listening to the Stephen A. Smith Show on ESPN Radio. Until 22 hours from now. Peace and love, everybody.
That's just a sample of what you'll hear on the Stephen A. Smith Show. Weekdays at 1 p.m. Eastern on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.